Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and today I'm going to show you the latest free update to Shreddage 2 called Shreddage 2 version 2. We've added a lot of great stuff in this patch. It's completely free to registered users. Everything from new audio content to new features, bug fixes, engine changes, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to go over some of that now. First of all, as you notice on the left, we have Shreddage 2 FX version 2 and the normal patch version 2. You can delete your old patches. With most DAWs, your project actually saves the patches that you were using, so you don't have to worry about backwards compatibility. However, you can keep the old ones if you want, which is why we gave these ones different titles. So before we get into the main patch, I want to play some of the new effects that we recorded for the library. This is a wide range of pick, neck, and fret effects. This is all pretty cool stuff. We have about over 70 effects now, so we pretty much tripled the amount that we had before. And just to play that without any amping, this is what it sounds like. So a lot of very useful stuff, not only to begin a riff and to end a riff, but also things that you can use in between to just add that vital human element. Now, moving on to the main patch, the first thing you'll notice is that there are now 4 guitars. So previously we had double tracking, which was pretty cool. You had DT guitar 1 and 2. Now you can load up to 4 different guitars. And the way you do that is just by loading 4 instances of the patch, same MIDI channel, and you set it to number 1 to DT guitar 1. Number 2 goes to the second output, guitar 2, and so forth and so on. So you have 3 and 3, output 4, guitar 4. What I have here in FL Studio is I'm going to show you the difference between just one guitar, and I'm going to show you all 4. This is actually 4 different amps, 4 different channels, panned left and right. So this is just, a few power chords here. Now let's hear that with everything at once. So as you can hear, it sounds absolutely enormous. And again, it's just a simple matter of loading the same patch again and setting the 2 extra instances to guitar 3 and 4. The only thing that you have to worry about is on guitars 1 and 2, you'll want to go to the engine page and then turn off anti-repetition. Going back to the main page, we have a new preset system. So let's say, here I'm just going to go back to one patch. Let's say you find a particular, tone and setup that you like. So let's say you like this particular preset that you've created. You can just go to Save Preset. We can call it, Zircon Awesome Guitar. And then if you go to Load Preset in another patch, you can pull up that exact patch that you just saved. So this works across different projects, and it's just a big improvement from the old preset system that we had. Fretboard and articulations are basically the same. We haven't fundamentally changed any of that. But some of the interesting new features that we've added. We now have a new vibrato type, which sounds very, very smooth. So you can see we have the fingered light, fingered heavy, whammy, and now smooth. So smooth can be used with power chords as well as single notes. So for example, here are some power chords. Here's what it sounds like with single notes in the lower register. So this is a really nice alternative to the other types because it fades seamlessly. So if we play some of the upper notes, for example, that's just a very, very clean sound. Whereas if we use, for example, the fingered heavy, it's got a little bit of that scratching and grittiness. And that's an actual recording, of course. The smooth uses an LFO and contact. So what that enables us to do is to actually give you control over the vibrato speed. So if we have this set to smooth, you can set this to, 10. You get that really, really fast sound, or you could do a slower one, let's say 3.8. So you can really customize that to taste, and if you right-click on the knob, you can actually assign that to a CC. We also have the ability to add compatibility with MIDI guitars. So if you use the split MIDI channel feature, then if you set Shreddage 2 to Omni mode, and this is enabled, then MIDI notes on different channels will take a different string of the guitar. Whoops. So for example, string 1 will get notes from MIDI channel 1, string 2 will get notes from MIDI channel 2, and so forth. We also have this new palm release feature. So let's say normally if you're playing palm mutes, and we turn up the release noise volume, you might not want that, so you can just turn that off. So we have an extensive page actually now of additional settings if you want to tweak things like releases even more. You can set a minimum length for releases to trigger, You can also set a maximum length. For example, if you hold a note for more than 5,000 milliseconds, the release won't trigger. Another cool feature is the pitch bend range. So before, you were limited to 2 semitones like this. So that's the kind of thing that guitarists often do in a solo or in a riff. But before, you were limited to 2 semitones. Now you can change that all the way to 12 semitones and just get really crazy with the bends. We have transposing now. So if I'm hitting, let's say an A. That's a handy way of if you change keys in your song, you don't want to have to move the MIDI notes all over the place. You can just use transpose on here. We now have velocity to volume, and this is optional, but this is useful for clean parts. So let's say I want to play a clean riff, and I have all the other articulations disabled, and I just have sustains on this is a hypothetical here. This is what it would sound like if I play at the low velocities. And now if you play low, it's much quieter. So if you play a chord, it can sound a bit more realistic. So having that option is very, very useful. On the Legato page, we actually have a new portamento speed option. And this is very interesting because now you can control the length of the transitions between notes when you're doing slides. So I'm going to turn the distortion back on. So if I decrease the speed, you will get that nice long slide. You may need to change the portamento settings, for example, the crossfading time, how long it takes for the main sustain to fade out. You may also want to tweak the volume of the slide itself. We've tweaked these controls to give you more flexibility for that. So besides these more obvious features, the additions of different controls, the vibrato type, the new effects, we also have some subtle stuff. For example, we now have things like the virtual hand range. With the hand range, you can actually increase or decrease the size of the virtual hand, how many frets it can stretch when it's playing additional notes. So by doing this, you can change the way that chords might be voiced. Basically, besides the changes that I've just showed you, we've also fixed some bugs. We've improved the fretting engine, so it should sound just more realistic out of the box. We've added more release noises, actually about double the number of release noises we had. We've added more extra pick sounds that happen before a note. That's in the articulations page. This has always been there, but now we have more. And then if you go to the Engine 2 page, which is new, you can now change the length of that extra pick. So when you trigger that, it can be anywhere from 20 to 50 milliseconds, depending on how much you want to really exaggerate that pick sound. Anyway, again, this update is available for free at our official forum on KVR Audio, so please go ahead and check it out. If you don't already have Shreddage 2, you can get it at shreddage.com or impactsoundworks.com. Thanks for watching.